You are live, sir, no? In YouTube.
Yeah.
So entire world is watching.
Yes, yes. So we'll display that our screen.
So, minute, sir. You talk there. In YouTube, the voice is coming into this.
Yes.
As YouTube is in little lag, we can check the adjustment also. One person will want to sit here only.
Working.
So,
Almost 400.
sharing the video. Tell me whether the voice is coming there or not.
Kindly join the session before 10 minutes using the below link.
And then send live.
Bad network quality. Oh, I have to send latest study sent.
In YouTube, the network quality is very bad. So we will tell them, sir, they can also join as anonymous.
That.
So you tell them the YouTube is having a lot of lag. You can also, it's our advice to use. We have kept that as secondary option, but it is our advice that you use this link.
MS
Teams link.
Yeah.
For better quality and very low latency.
MS Team.
Because that is anonymous only, sir. They can see that. Concurrent viewers. You are also watching, sir. You are also watching YouTube.
YouTube, yeah. No, I'm not watching. Kindly join the session before 10 minutes using below link, and please mute yourself so we can avoid the external disturbance. Use MS Team for a good quality view, and YouTube has a 30-second lag. Box.
So 10 o'clock only we'll start the session and put the mute everything in this room and put the photo. And
put it in chat box. Put it in the chat box. If any message you can put it in the chat box. Okay. Link I'll send. Here is a link. Sir, I am mailing to all participants. Huh?
Sir? That would be better thing, no? If they use...
See, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, whatever it is. If they use that one, that is a better option for them.
Yes, sir. Even I mentioned.
Monitoring two things, sir. We could have avoided YouTube. We are monitoring two things. We have to go and back and do all these things. Now nothing. We are playing, we are sharing.
That's it.
YouTube will come. So in between, people have to take photos there and here also, sir. We have to ask DAP to take photos there.
DAP.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. I'm not able to hear you.
Yeah, now you can.
I cannot hear.
One second. HOD sir called. Hello sir. Sir, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 5 minutes ಇದೆ. 10:15ಗೆ ಲಾಗ್ ಇದಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ ಅದು. ಕ್ಯಾಲೆಂಡರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಸರ್ ನೀವು.
ಟೀಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ
ಕ್ಯಾಲೆಂಡರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಸರ್, ಲಿಂಕ್ ಇದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ ಆನ್ ಅಂತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಓಪನ್ ಎಟ್ 10:15 ಸರ್, 10:15 AM. ಕ್ಯಾಂಡಿಡೇಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅದು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಹಾ 10:30 ಸರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋ 10:30. 10:15ಗೆ ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್. ಅದು 10:30 ಅಂತಿದೆ ಸರ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ.
Hello, sir. Hello. Can't hear anything.
Ma'am, you can hear? JJ madam. Ma'am, we can hear you. No, I think you are unmuted.
Hello,
Oh,
sir. Sir, I've unmuted it.
No, we can hear you.
But I cannot hear there, no.
Speaker settings.
Your speaker settings, ma'am, anywhere.
What I'll do, I'll close it and I'll do it again.
Again you can join if it is.
Yeah, I'll do that. Okay.
Disturbance. So much disturbance.
Sir, only one thing should be on, sir. Remaining all should be muted.
But those people, HOD sir and all, you can. Comes no. That's why again they will face problem.
I'll mute them once the guest starts speaking.
Sunil, I'll call her. He's ready.
15 minutes we'll start and we will.
Please kindly join webinar 10:15.
Now I can hear, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, फिर से join किया sir मैंने.
So we have set up here everything. You can log in, sir. You can.
हाँ सर अभी ठीक हो गया, अब ठीक है. Yeah, this is not the official. Acha, acha, the official link is in the calendar.
I can also unmute you here, but until if you unmute, then only I can.
No, sir. Talking, all the presenters can talk.
Hmm.
But video display, which one to go to live, it is my decision.
JJ madam.
Ha, sir. Ha, sir.
Yeah, you can hear me, no?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, okay. You can show your face, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
So you got a agenda's detail you got, no?
Ha, yes, sir. So,
Jennifer, ma'am?
ha, yes, sir.
Yeah, you are in. Okay. I think sir is joined.
Hiramat, sir. Nexiot founder, Mr. Sunil Kumar, is founder and director of Nexiot. Okay. So I don't have to say Nexiot company, nothing like that is necessary,
No,
no?
no. That I'll again, in my expert detail, I'll introduce that. Okay.
Okay, okay. What, sir? Yeah. Is it very audible there? Okay. I'll do something.
Such is Shiv Shankar sir. Some. Is it audible, Shiv Shankar? You unmute your. Is it audible?
Yes, sir. It's audible, sir. Yeah, it's clear, sir.
Volume is more. Yes, sir.
Director
Make it more.
is coming. No?
Enough.
It's in live and
Shiv Shankar, can you hear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now it's clear.
Clear, sir. Very
So
clear.
is it clear from my end?
Yes, sir. It's real.
And what about Chandrasekhar Bhatt sir?
Yeah, we are checking, sir. Sir is checking. Jennifer, madam?
Oh. Is Mr. Sunil Kumar logged in?
Yes, sir. No, not at join,
Is
sir.
Mr. Not yet.
So he's joining, sir. He's joining. Sunil, sir. Sunil, sir. He joined.
Hiremat, who are the people still to join?
Still people are not joining. Some people only have only 9 people have joined, sir. Still waiting for some.
So our presenters sir was asking.
Huh?
Sorry, the guest and
The presenter now, the Sunil Kumar sir will join now, so he's restarting that.
Is joined?
He
joined?
joined. Shortly he's joining.
Okay. Any external member has joined?
External.
Other than-
Some people have joined in YouTube, sir, live. Some 10 were joined there. So here some response are coming now. Now it is increasing. Some 5, 10 are there now.
Okay.
Okay.
But I am not seeing Shiv Shankar, Mr. Sunil Kumar
Yeah, he'll join, sir. He'll join.
is joined. Hello, good morning, Mr. Sunil Kumar. Can you hear me?
He is not yet joined.
I am Srikant Rao.
Sir, wait, sir. 1 second. He is not joined. 1 second. Why he is not able to join?
You are getting, no? Otherwise, I can join. I can call him over phone and talk to him. Sunil, shall I talk to him over phone? Yeah.
Yes, sir. He's too. 1 second. Participants.
Sir,
Shiv Shankar, you are able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it is clear.
Okay, there is some echo here.
Because you are sitting nearby, sir. Director, sir, nearby.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
We need to
and
switch off
mobile, you can keep it in silent mode, sir. Mobile phone you can keep it silent.
Shiv Shankar? Still it is echoing.
Still it is echo is there.
The name speaker.
Your mobile, sir, mobile, you could put it in silent mode, sir. You are using mobile. Put it
Mobile
silent.
silent model it is.
Suppose I off now use.
Hello,
Yes, sir.
Shiv Shankar.
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir. I can hear you.
I'm
Sir.
not hearing you. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
You are not audible.
Sir, you unmute.
My speaker.
Yeah, unmuted.
Shiv Shankar.
Yes, sir.
Now it's
Yes,
fine.
sir. Yeah.
You
I am audible, no, sir?
Yes. You have to unmute.
You got some problem, no? What? Yes, sir. Sunil, sir. Okay.
Uh,
Hiremat, can you hear me? You off
Yes,
your
sir.
speaker.
I can hear you, sir. I can hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
can
sir.
hear me now?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
You can hear. So
Yes, sir.
what we should do is we may have to switch off the speakers, both the speakers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Okay.
Attendance is there, sir.
85 are online now. Okay. But here I am unable to see that.
But I can see, sir, because I'm connected through this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir is waiting for you. Director, sir. You can. Yeah. Yes, sir. You can start, and sir will call you over phone. He'll call you. Then you can speak. Then we'll start by parallelly. We can do it. This. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir. I'll. Okay. 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 JJ madam will tell you. Then she'll start.
Hiremat,
Yes, sir. Sir,
can we
he's not.
start
Sir,
after some time? How many registrations have?
now 75. It is total registration is 400, sir. 410 are there. So now the people have only 80 people have joined now till now.
Okay.
So some more people are
should we
joining.
wait for?
Joining people
Shall
are
we
joining.
Shall we wait for some more time?
Another 2 minutes, sir. 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Shivshankar.
Yes.
Ask JJ to start making announcements.
Yes, sir. Yes. JJ. Jennifer, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Am
you
I
can
audible,
hear.
sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. You can start just introduction and.
Okay, fine, sir. Fine, sir. Okay, we'll begin then. Good morning and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Jennifer Jacob, and I am an assistant professor in the Department of Mechatronics Engineering, MIT Manipal. So I will be taking you through this webinar. Today, we are presenting a webinar on industrial IoT and cybersecurity presented by Mr. Sunil Kumar, founder and director, Nexiot. Now, I take this opportunity to welcome our beloved director, Dr. Srikant Rao. I request the director to deliver the inaugural address, sir.
A very good morning to all of you who have registered for this very important webinar, Industrial IoT and Cybersecurity, on behalf of the Institute and also on behalf of the Department of Mechatronics. I wholeheartedly welcome each one of you. Today we are having with us, as mentioned, Mr. Sunil Kumar G is the founder director Nexiot, which provides IoT solutions and cybersecurity, and also he has very vast experience, 16 plus years of experience in industry, covering electronics design, and he had graduated from our own neighboring institute, which is of repute, National Institute of Technology, Surathkal. Later on, also did his master's. So we have a very eminent personality to deliver a very important and very emerging and encompassing topic, which is going to be of importance to all who are in pursuit of engineering and technology as their interest of in terms of career or in terms of research. Uh, I just want to I'm sure that some of you are new to the institute, which is hosting this webinar, or you would have heard about Manipal Institute of Technology. I just want to throw light on some aspect of Manipal. Manipal has been in the world map and also, of course, national scene in education and healthcare for quite some time. It's over 70 years that Manipal has been in the education and healthcare space. Its founder, Dr. T.M.A. Pai, has he had started the first self-financing medical college way back in 1953, and in 1957 he started the Manipal Engineering College, which was renamed as Manipal Institute of Technology in 1974. So it has been a long way since our founder started education, the institutes of higher education, and it was his dream to start a university. And of course, it was then fulfilled by the current Chancellor, Dr. Ramdas Pai. In 1993, we started with the Manipal Academy of Higher Education, and also added large number of institutes. We do have more than 400 programs being offered by Manipal, and has a presence in several places in the country, including Jaipur, Sikkim, and Bangalore, and also in Goa and Jamshedpur. Also, we are globally present in Malaysia for the medical program as well as engineering program and several others, and also in Dubai and Antigua. So there has been a reasonable spread of, I would say, student population from all across the globe who have graduated out and doing very well for the community where they are working. So our major alumni, of course, are from the engineering background. I would say Satya Nadella is one of them, from the 88 batch of E&C. Similarly, Raju Suri is also from the E&C batch. So we have a large number of alumni who have gone through these portals of this institute and brought a name to themselves and to the organizations they are working, and also to the alma mater. And now that institute has seen about 6 of its life, and we are now offering a large number of undergraduate programs, 17 of them, and also postgraduate programs, 25 of them, and PhD on in all disciplines. We have a student strength of 9,500 currently, and it is mainly a residential campus program where faculties also reside in the campus, and the experiential learning is what we give more thrust on. And I'm sure that you would all know that Manipal has been in the forefront of trying to explore and provide its students with whatever is the latest. Just to throw more light on how MIT is looking at the current scenario, you are all aware that the pandemic has struck all, including the students and institutes, industry, all across. And this online exposure to is only the way out in the current scenario. And how do we make best benefit out of it is what we look at. And out of the pandemic emerge solutions too. and I think we need to live with this. Today, the Mechatronics department, which is one of the most sought after branch in engineering at Manipal, has launched a webinar, and IoT and cybersecurity are, as I mentioned, very key to engineering discipline. And we do have also in the institute a center for cybersecurity, which is going to which also involves companies, organizations to handhold and also try to provide students with experience in the field that has been for which it has been created. And we look to see that we provide important dimensions of each of these areas to both faculty as well as students. I'm sure that the registered members for this webinar include faculty as well as students from not only MIT but also from all across the country. I'm sure that it's going to be very fruitful from the experience that Mr. Sunil Kumar would provide to you. It is only going to be a glimpse and probably create an interest in you and leading to online courses that you can register for either through Coursera. Our students of MIT will and also faculty are in a position to register online courses in Coursera free of cost. But however, there are other portals also like SWAYAM and NPTEL, which you would be in a position to register free. So I request all of you to see whether this will create an opportunity for you to register for online courses in the area after you have this the webinar session be over, which also gets give you more insight in those areas, and then take it as a career option or a research possibility. I wish all of you the very best, and also to thanks to Sunil Kumar for um, accepting our invitation to deliver the webinar talk, expert talk today. Thank you and all the best. Over to Hiremat.
Yes, sir. JJ madam. Jennifer ma'am.
Thank you, Director, sir, for your inaugural talk. Now I welcome the head of the department, Dr. Chandrasekhar Bhatt. I request our HOD to speak about the department and also the webinar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jennifer. Good morning to each one of you, those who have joined this webinar. And I would like to express my sincere gratitude and thanks to Mr. Sunil Kumar, who has accepted our invitation to deliver this talk for an hour on industrial IoT and cybersecurity. It gives me great pleasure, being the head of the department, to invite and welcome each one of you to this webinar. Since we are already lagging, I'll just spare 1 or 2 minutes. The Mechatronics as a discipline here in the Institute of Manipal Institute of Technology has started in the year 2006. So over the years, we have built up an excellent laboratory to deliver mechatronics education. As you all know, it's a real challenge to deliver mechatronics education because it is a blend of multiple disciplines, multiple technologies. So we'll just show you glimpses of our laboratories in a minute. We keep revising our syllabus regularly to keep in touch with the modern developments that are taking place in the industry, because this is more relevant to the industry, more practical oriented, involves lots of technology in its implementation, and hence we are looking into the developments on a daily basis, and accordingly we keep our syllabus up to date. So as you all know, these days the people used to talk about Industry 4.0 to begin with in the last few years, and now the industry started talking about Industry 5.0 with the advent of augmented reality, virtual reality, cryptocurrency, robotics, artificial intelligence, and so on. And hence the lifestyle, the way in which work in the industries with the machines, the way we lead our life, we do our things, everything is going to be impacted in a great way in another few years' time. That's what people are expecting with the intelligent machines working with us. So life is going to be a real interesting and challenging. And with this scenario, we have framed our curriculum also, which will have most of these components, which are the enablers of Industry 5.0. And hence our students will have the advantage of getting exposed to these kind of modern technologies. Not only that, our system have an option for them to getting into the industries during the study here and see how things work, how modern technologies work, and get themselves enabled with these technologies so that they can immediately start playing a big role in the industries. With these few words, again, I will welcome you all to this talk. And now I request Jennifer to go ahead with the department video.
Now we have a small video on facilities and activity at Department of Mechatronics Engineering. Now I invite Dr. Shiv Shankar Hiramat to introduce the expert, Mr. Sunil Kumar.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. I'll invite for the webinar on industrial IoT and cybersecurity. So it is my immense pleasure to introduce Sunil Kumar sir, and he's founder and director of IoT Nexoid, and he's has 16 years of experience in industry, various fields like electronics, design, IoTs, cybersecurity, and digital transformation. So Sunil obtained his bachelor degree from Surat, the field of communication, and followed by the placement program in IIT, IIM. So he started his in DI as a scientist and yeah, as a military technician and also product. So he is and he was a part of management team Future Electronics and before he started Nexoid. So the Nexoid provides IT and cyber solution consulting and field. So the team has a experience in the field of high performance computing and defense applications as well as environmental, also telecommunication and automotive industry. So Sunil Kumar has IRCS certified engineer and also is contributing his expertise in the different forums. Oh, yeah. Is the Institute of Technology, also I forum and security is the international organization. So now I invite Mr. Sunil Kumar to join us and give the webinar on the industrial IoTs and cybersecurity. So
Yeah.
over to Sunil Kumar sir. Sir, you can hear me?
Yeah, Shivshankar. Can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Yeah, good morning, everyone. And yeah, apologies for the connectivity issues little bit facing. So what I'll do is if any connectivity issue is there, I'll try to reconnect to another network. Request your patience for this little management. So this is a problem we have with this working remotely options, right? Okay, is everyone able to hear clearly? Maybe you can type in the chat box and right, everyone able to hear clearly? Yeah, Shivshankar, is that okay with everyone?
Yes, sir. It's audible, so it is very clear. So you can go ahead, sir.
Yeah, and yeah.
You can put your slide.
Yeah, I'll share the slide and firstly, let me thank Mr. Shivshankar, Manipal Institute of Technology chairman sir there for setting up this platform, right, and enabling this session to happen, right. And I'm not turning on the camera as of now, right. Let it stabilize the network. Then once we are going through, then I'll turn it on in between when needed there. Is that okay? Everyone okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Shivshankar, is that audio okay?
Yes, sir. You can.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, sir. It's clear, and you can turn on the video afterwards. So just you can go ahead. You can share your Sunil sir. Sunil sir, you can hear me?
Yeah, Shivshankar, is the audio okay now?
Yeah, yes, sir. It's okay. So you can share your PPT.
Yeah. So was that audible? What I was speaking before I?
Yeah. It is clear. It was already audible.
Yeah. Hopefully, I think now
Mr. Shivshankar, you are very clear and very audible. You can go ahead. No issues.
Okay. Yeah, is the slides visible for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you once again, and kindly bear with any connectivity issues, but we will try to make it as smooth as possible. We had a startup problem now, but that I think we should be able to manage. Right. Well, good morning once again. Thanks everyone for joining this session on industrial IoT and cyber security. right? And the next
Sunil sir.
hello.
It's not audible. Now, okay. Now it's clear.
Okay. So next stop, 45 minutes, 1 hour. So Shivshankar,
Yeah.
from your end, if any problem is there, so we'll
Yes,
need
sir.
to coordinate on the connectivity.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Okay.
we'll go through.
Yeah.
So we'll start off trying to understand what is happening in the IoT space, right? And what are the recent trends in cybersecurity, right? We at Nexiot, we are all focused on IoT and cybersecurity. Last 5 years, we have been working on IoT solutions. We started with building IoT solutions. Now we are more of a consulting company. We also build certain products, mainly in the research area for industrial, environmental monitoring, and so on. And along with that, a key area of focus for us is on the security aspects of IoT, right? And this is an emerging area with a lot of complexity. So we've been focusing a lot on IoT security. So we'll see some trends. Then we will try to get a little more clarity on understanding what is industrial IoT, so, right? There is one industrial control systems, and there is something happening in that space as well. So we'll try to understand what is industrial IoT, which are the top use cases, and what are the challenges being faced in this particular segment, right? So with this context set, we will look into the IoT stack, what is a typical IoT stack, and how it relates to an industrial IoT stack, what could be some changes that happens in a typical IoT stack. Then the key focus of today's session would be, how do we go about by secure by design considerations for IoT solutions and industrial IoT solutions, right? So there are some aspects what you need to consider when you look at the security of the solution, what has to be considered there, right? Security is a vast topic. So in this session, we'll try to touch upon some key aspects of like what is threat modeling, what are attack trees, and how do you actually secure devices. What I understand, there are audience in this session from diverse background, diverse engineering fields. It is still good to know, even if you're from electronics, if you're from computer science, if you're from mechatronics department, robotics, mechanical, whatever it is, IoT gives us opportunity for all the streams to come in and pitch in, right? So it is not one technology or one industry segment. It spans across the industries, and there are different technologies coming in together to make an IoT solution possible, right? So this is the plan for the session, and towards the end, we can have question and answers. We'll take it towards the end, right? Okay, starting with trends in IoT and cybersecurity. I personally have been tracking. I track continuously like what's happening in the IoT space, and in February 2020, that is before this lockdown COVID-19 things. There is a blog. I wrote an article on like what are the top 10 trends for IoT in 2020, right? Some of these trends have been like not new, they've been there for last year before that, but what is gaining more significance, right? So edge computing, right? Fog computing, doing analytics at the edge networks on the edge devices. This is becoming very important for success of IoT. This is the #1 trend, right? And IoT security concerns, it has been there. It is getting even more important. Then industrial IoT, this is one of the most early adopters of IoT, seeing some good success, return on investment. This is continuing to grow strong. IoT platforms, there are a lot of companies, startups, big companies offering SaaS offerings in the IoT platform space, right? So they are giving you maintenance as a service, dashboards, analytics. SaaS offerings are seeing a lot of traction. And of course, AI, ML, many of the IoT use cases, maybe just monitoring, remote monitoring is good enough for you. Say you want to monitor the water level, you want to monitor electricity consumption, maybe just monitoring is enough. But there are a lot of use cases where you need to bring in artificial intelligence, machine learning to be deployed on the cloud or on the device, on the gateway and so on. So this is seeing an increasing adoption. Climate change, sustainability, there is a lot of push across the world. Blockchain, distributed ledgers, this is another space seeing a lot of traction. And another interesting trend we see is edge services getting traction, right? For example, if you look at Amazon, there are a lot of services which you can run on the edge without really connecting to the cloud, right? So green grass services and so on, and combined with the cloud, this combined offering is gaining traction. Similarly, it's happening with Azure as well. And IoT sensors, they're becoming sort of commodity, right? And commoditization is happening, which is a good thing because it enables much easier and faster adoption. 5G LPWAN promises a lot for IoT use cases, and this is another interesting positive trend for us for the IoT. Now, this was 4 months, 5 months back, right? And the industry-wise, this is picked from one of the sources called IoT Analytics. They do a lot of analysis of the IoT industry. And yeah, this is last year's information, but still relevant, right? The trend have continued. The number one adopter has been smart cities, then connected industry, right? Connected buildings, connected cars, smart energy. So this is how the specific industries have been adopting. If you see the top 5, smart cities, connected industry, buildings, automotive in the connected car, and energy is there, right? And other segments are there. But now in the what is sort of really alerting all of us is till last year, see, IoT has been going on for last 10 years, right? And every year there is a lot of excitement that IoT will become big this year, it will become big this year. And the main value of IoT was like how it can impact the benefits, right? Say you are implementing IoT and you say that you can save this much energy. You're implementing IoT, you're telling that you can improve the operational efficiency by this much percentage, and you can save this much cost. So it was all benefit which was there, and companies have to look at like, okay, this is the benefit this IoT solution gives, should we adopt it, right? And what are the challenges and so on. Now, till last year, even till starting of this year, it was good that the value-based positioning was great. But then what in the last 3 months we can very clearly see is the impact of, see, look at the way the offices have changed, right? The IT company you see is, you see the impact it is playing there, right? And everybody is working from home. Internets have been jamming. The services have been really like it has been affected. The whole economy has been affected in different ways. Despite all these changes, there are certain positive trends in terms of the opportunities, right? So despite, yes, it is, there are a lot of negative effects of because of this COVID-19 thing, but there are a lot of positive trends we see in terms of what can help for IoT adoption. From IoT, what was a value-based positioning, which was very strong all these years, now it is becoming that everyone has to look at like how this can really help them address the current challenges. So it is not anymore a value-based option what you have. Today it is something you must consider. How can I adopt IoT and solve the current day problems caused due to all this havoc what is going on around, right? And in this turmoil, there are certain segments which are really looking deep for IoT adoption. The top is the healthcare, right? There is push. I don't want to get into details about the push and so on. It's there. If everyone is tracking technology, we are seeing this healthcare, telemedicine, contactless solution is emerging as a segment in itself, right? Everyone is looking at how you can make your lifts, elevators without touching them. Can you operate it? And already solutions are out in the market, and people are looking at how you can. Every time somebody visits an industrial complex or any office, you have a logger register, right? You need to register and enter there. Now there are solutions how you can make it completely contactless, right? And personal safety. People want to monitor their positions and start seeing how people can be kept safe. Supply chain, logistics, a lot of things are changing. You go to a pizza shop, there is completely contactless kind of delivery they are trying to do. Industrial segment, you see they are trying to adopt more of robotics, right? Or drones are being seriously looked at. Maybe like there were a lot of concerns, but now there is more focus coming on the drones, right? And security, this security we're talking is the physical security, right? So people want to, there is increased demand for security solutions, physical security, like your security cameras and so on. Building automation is again seeing a lot of traction building up, like people are looking how they can bring a lot more of this connected kind of solutions. Transportation, we are already seeing there, right? A lot of IoT adoption happening over there, right? So this COVID-19 has left some kind of it has given a little more thrust for IoT adoption in certain areas where we can potentially solve some of the problems, which is a good factor for somebody working on offering technology solutions, right? Now that's what's happening with IoT. Now looking at the security, right? Every other day we are hearing some security issues, right? And we all know that there's a big thing going on, layoff by one of the IT giants, and that particular company, we also know that there was a cyber attack that happened, right, and a ransomware attack, and we don't know if that was the impact, whatever the reasons are, but ransomware has been a very key trend in the cybersecurity space, right? And the most recent one being the Maze ransomware. Healthcare, IT companies, lot of, and then there was earlier WannaCry, Petya, and so on. Compliance is gaining a lot of significance because you need to take care of data privacy aspects, you need to take care of data protection aspects, right? And AI/ML adoption here also is seeing a lot of traction. This is a very interesting area for somebody looking at IoT security aspects coming together. AI/ML adoption is a key trend there, right? And blockchain, IoT and OT vulnerabilities. So OT here refers for operational technology, primarily used in the industrial space, right? And IT, OT vulnerabilities, they're like you hear somebody's electric grid under attack, right? Some industrial plant under attack. So these are the scenarios what we are referring here. Standards and frameworks, this is an evolving aspect which we are seeing good traction. And another trend opportunity is there is shortage of skills professionals in a lot of this space. Towards the end of this session, in the last I'll touch upon certain areas where we are seeing demand for the skills and professionals. And interesting to notice, cybersecurity is one sector where there is, in fact, seems to be more demand as has actually increased after this COVID-19, right? Okay, so this about with this trends and context set. Now let's get into trying to understand what is industrial IoT and how the implementation happens, right? A quick check. Shiv Shankar, is the audio okay? Audio and slides. Yeah. Hello.
Yes, sir.
It's fine, right? Everything is going
smooth. Okay,
go ahead. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Right. Now let's get to look at, try to understand what do we mean by this industrial IoT and the stack, IoT stack, industrial IoT stack, and what are the use cases before we get into the security aspects, right? Now, typical IoT implementation, it is, I'm expecting like all of us in this session, we know what is IoT. So IoT we are all familiar with. We have the sensors and devices, and then all these devices connecting to the gateway. The gateway concentrates the data. There's a lot more functionality that can happen on the gateway, communications, and then being pushed on to the cloud platforms. And from cloud, you have the applications, analytics, you're pushing to mobile apps and so on. So this is a typical IoT solution implementation, right? And communications, you need to look at communications, connectivity, protocols between the IoT devices and the gateway, as well as from the gateway to your internet backbone there. Now, real world implementation. This is what we see as the IoT technology stack, right? There are a lot more options, but some idea to get to know what are the different layers in IoT solution and what could be the options. Now, at the bottom, you have the IoT nodes, right? Edge nodes, end nodes, what we call. These are the connected devices. What we are talking about, billions of devices, these are the ones. And these connected devices, this is where the sensors are, and they give you a lot of sensors and actuators are. And they could be PLCs, right? PLCs, what you see here at the left bottom. There could be some smart meters. There could be healthcare gadgets, street lights, automotive dongles, lighting, or traffic cameras, and so on. So these are the typical end nodes. They would be talking on wireless technologies. They communicate with the gateway, and it could be Wi-Fi, LoRa, Bluetooth, right, Zigbee, so on, different kinds of wireless technology. They talk to the gateway, and the gateway in turn pushes the data. It's connected to the internet backbone. It pushes to the cloud platforms, right? The popular ones being IBM, right? Azure, Ka, Amazon. Ka is interesting. If someone is exploring on the cloud, open source technologies for the cloud platform, Ka is very interesting. We see it's great. And ThingWorks, something specific to the industrial space. Then when we talk about the cloud platforms, you have the data stores there, right? And how you implement different kinds of services, you build dashboards, you have APIs being accessed by other applications, you can connect to third-party applications, mobile applications, and so on, right? And then mobile and web are typically the user interfaces, what you have in the edge, right? At the user side. Now, this is how the stack is. Now, this looks good whether you talk about industrial IoT, healthcare IoT, or smart homes, and so on. What differentiates sort of what you can specifically focus on industrial IoT is the kind of technology, the protocol selected across this stack would define your industrial IoT segment there, right? So when you talk about PLCs talking to your gateway, there could be certain kind of protocols they're using, right? And certain kind of a connectivity. From the gateway, industrial gateway to the backbone, there could be something specific for that. Typically, your internet, Ethernet, what we use for the connectivity there. Then cloud, again, the cloud services could be specific to your industrial kind of a specific options available for you, right? So that is what determines your industrial IoT applications. Now, if we look at what are the typical cases, right? When you talk to somebody from the industrial automation space, they would refer to industrial as a very specific segment, which typically focuses on your manufacturing plants, process industries, and so on, right? Which has also been known as the industrial control systems related applications. But when we look into specifically the industrial IoT, so this is what industrial control systems would look like, right? You have all the industrial devices, motors, actuators, sensors there. Typical industrial connectivity buses, like you have Profibus, Modbus, and so on. And then you have the SCADA systems being used there, PLCs, SCADA, HMIs. These are the ones which we typically talk in the industrial control system space. Now there is an increasing convergence happening between IT and OT. What we refer to these technologies, right? This is what is generally called as operational technology as well, right? What you see on the right side there. You have the SCADA systems, PLCs, sensors, and so on. And there has been IT. Now that we see there is increasing IT-OT convergence happening, right? Now, for our context, when we are talking about industrial IoT, right? We are referring to a little more, not very specific to industrial control systems as such, because when we refer to industrial IoT, there could be little overlap between the segments, right? Now, for example, when you talk about smart cities, right? When you talk about smart cities, water management in the smart cities is an application which can also be a kind of industrial IoT application, right? When you talk about some environmental monitoring kind of application, there could be industrial IoT environmental monitoring as well as your the environmental monitoring for natural related aspects there, right? So more practical way of looking at industrial IoT applications, this is how we look at it, right? So it could be manufacturing and operations, predictive maintenance, right? Environmental monitoring, worker safety, energy management, right? And resource management, asset management, right? Asset management, we're talking like you have diesel gensets in your industrial complex, right? How do you monitor that? How do you manage that, right? Precision manufacturing. This is a very interesting, though it's a sort of niche kind of a segment. There are a lot of interesting solutions coming there. Recently, we've been seeing some companies working on sound-based analytics for precision welding applications, right? When somebody is doing welding, how to make sure that it is really accurate, that using sound-based analytics for precision manufacturing there. Logistics supply chain, it could be monitoring your raw materials to different kinds of the parts, components, your whole supply chain integrated with your third-party suppliers and so on. Transportation and robotics. Robotics, it's more of a technology being used across these use cases, right? So these are the kinds of use cases we are referring to when we refer to as industrial IoT, and it is not just confined to the industrial control systems like how we saw in the previous slides here, right? And what I've been tracking is there are some specific standards in the industrial control system cybersecurity, right? One of them is a popular standard called ISA 62443, right? Even within that forum, though it has largely focused on this kind of industrial control systems, they are also considering, they're looking at the way the industrial control stack itself is changing, right? People are adopting more of this IoT kind of solutions. So to fit in this, the kind of standards they are defined needs some changes and sort of revision. So that's what work is going on in that space. So looking at these use cases gives us a more practical and up-to-date approach on what has to be considered as industrial IoT there, right? There are terms being used, Industry 4.0, M2M, industrial internet. So a lot of them relate to these kind of use cases there. Okay, now with this background set on what is IoT, what is industrial IoT we are referring to, now let's try to look into the industrial and IoT stack in general and look at the security needs of this and how we can go about the secure design aspects, right? So we have seen this is how the implementation happens, the IoT stack. And if I put it as a block diagram, any IoT, so what we are looking at is a IoT stack, right? And industrial IoT stack also fits into this, right? Except that you have the nature of the devices changing. The end node, like we saw those PLCs and so on, that may change, but otherwise the stack is still the same, right? Now, we have the end nodes talking to the gateway and push to the cloud, and there you have different kinds of applications running over there. Typically the cloud, your data storage, mobile apps, web apps. Now, if we have to secure this, we need to look at each of these components, everything, the way they are interacting between the components, and we need to go about the securing this whole stack there, right? And when we are looking at IoT security, it is not just securing the device. It is not just securing your cloud or you're securing your mobile app. It is about securing end to end, because so this holds good even in IT networks. It's not any different, but here the complexity gets little more added because of the different kinds of protocols and the nature of the devices, right? Now, a little more kind of a typical application. You have this PLCs, right? HVAC systems, energy meters, and so on, sensor devices, talking on different wireless protocols. Then each device is an embedded device, right? The end nodes are typically embedded devices. This is where you have those microcontrollers, your microprocessors sitting there, you have wireless integrated, and you are doing your, some applications have operating systems. Many of these nodes may not have operating systems, right? And different types of sensors come in there, and you talk over, depending on the use case and application, you have a particular wireless technology that is pushing to the gateway, and gateway in turn is pushing over the internet backbone, then the cloud, then you have different kinds of user interfaces there, right? Now, this is simplifying with, say, one device you got talking to the gateway and pushing to the cloud over there. Now, when you want to secure this stack, right, you need to secure the end node, right? You need to secure the gateway. You need to secure the connectivity that is happening between the end node and the gateway, and between the gateway and your backbone. And you need to take a lot of care on your different services, the cloud platforms, or wherever you are giving some kind of user interface, your mobile apps, web apps, you need to secure that. So we are looking at what are we trying to secure now, right? So we will come to a little more aspects shortly. Now, first, if you look at the end node, your typical end node has got a processor, controller there, sensors, actuators, and connectivity. So you need to make sure you want to make this secure. So what do we mean by secure? So there is a software code that is running. There is physically, say a good simple example can be, if you have a camera, right? If you have a camera device, they just hook it up somewhere, right, for monitoring, security monitoring. Now, how do you secure? So this is an IoT device. It is connected to the internet. A security camera is an IoT device. When it is connected to internet and you're collecting the data remotely, there are a lot of ways the device itself can be tampered, right? Somebody can see physically, if you take a traffic, some smart camera which has been put there, physically it is still accessible, right? Somebody can go and just grab over the camera there or break it or so on. So one is that aspect. Second is the physical security there. Then once you have the camera there in your hand, what all you can do with that? Where all you can compromise the camera? There is a operating system running there. You have the ports which are exposed. Can you just go and hook into that port and can you access data? There is some storage happening in the camera locally. Bro, can you access that data? Right? Can you access that information? Or can you modify that camera in such a way that it is sending data to some other collector as well, right? So these are the different options, what are different aspects that has to be looked at when you're trying to secure a IoT device. Then the connectivity itself, right? You have different types of wireless connectivity, and the gateway and device, gateway is more complex, right? You have processors, almost every time you have an operating system, lot of services running, and so gateway security is even more critical for IoT applications, right? And then the cloud, of course, is there. So we have to look at how each of these devices are constructed and how they are communicating with each other, right? And the device relation, meaning like how it is talking to the other components of the stack there, right? So this is what we just discussed. So there is, so those of you who are looking into this coding part, you're looking into programming devices, if you're from electronics background, computer science background, you probably are focusing IT background and telecom background. You need to be focusing more on these aspects there, right? The device memory, how, so it gets to the very, very micro level, like what compromise can happen in terms of security, right? And say in a device, when you have a memory chip which is put there, they go to the extent that they take out that memory chip and they do X-ray scanning to get what information is there, right? Some kind of X-ray technology is used to get what is stored there, right? So whenever you have IoT devices talking to your cloud, you have a lot of authentication, credentials, authorization aspects stored in the device, right? So you need to make sure, typically use these keys, right? The keys have to be stored securely. And when somebody gets hold of this device, how secure it is, whether they can extract those keys or what, those are the aspects what we need to look here, right? The physical interfaces, later when I'll have a couple of slides, what do we mean by this? So this is where probably mechanical engineers who are trying to design the systems, or system designers who are looking at overall aspects. When you look at the product casing, how do you actually consider these aspects, right? Or somebody who's doing on a PCB, how do you take care of some of these aspects? That is what we need to look here. Local data storage, sensors and actuator tampering, and Trojans. Trojans are a little more at the IC level, which not much control, but yeah, you need to give some consideration, right? And when we talk about device relations, you're talking about, see, a connected device, it would be connecting to your gateway, it would be talking to your cloud services. The network services have to be secure. So this is where your network security plays a key role. The update mechanisms, how you're securing that. The web interfaces, every end node, every gateway typically has a web interface. What we mean by this, like when you have a router in your homes, right? Router is a connected device. A router can be a gateway, can be used as an IoT gateway for a lot of applications, right? And how do you actually go and configure your router? When you go and you put that port number, right? 192.168.0.1, right? Or 1.1, a specific IP address, if you give within your local address, local network, you are presented with a web interface to go and configure your router, right? This is how almost all the router gateways are, right? You need a web interface for going and configuring them and working on them. So this is a point of vulnerability there, right? Device communication, again, the wireless technologies or the Ethernet communications, what you're using, that security aspects have to be considered. Now, jamming, deauth, little specific. So what we mean by this is, suppose say you have deployed an IoT solution, right, in a particular industrial complex. Imagine that somebody comes in a vehicle in the road nearby, and in that vehicle he is having a jammer, right? He jams the complete network there, and it can have a huge impact there, right? So jammers are illegal. It cannot be just used without some licenses and so on. Deauth attack relates to similar thing, like you have a connected device, you go and bring some deauth kind of attack. So the device, Wi-Fi device, which is connected to a network, it disconnects there and connects to you, right? So some side channel attacks, again, you are using some different ways of not straightforward, some kind of different side analysis to go about the attacks, right? So these are this gets into a little more about your network security, your embedded security, your web security aspects when you're looking into the device relation security aspects. Now, yeah, one of the takeaways, like I was telling initially, security is a very vast and topic. We'll just try to get some of the key takeaways from today's session. Can be your threat modeling, considering threat modeling for your solutions. Threat modeling is used not just in IoT, it is used in a lot of areas, right? So when you are building an IoT solution, industrial IoT solution, it is always recommended to be a necessary practice to do a threat model whenever you build a solution, right? Now, what is threat? Threat is a exploit potential, right? And IoT threats, and the threats can be natural or man-made. Natural meaning like environmental catastrophes and so on. But we are referring, when we look into the security, cybersecurity aspects, it's largely the man-made aspects what we are looking at, right? IoT threats, there could be threats for the data coming from and to the IoT devices, hardware, software, wireless, physical, the reliability aspect itself, the safety aspects, control systems, right? When somebody has designed an industrial control system, there could be some thing that can be attacked within the design itself, algorithms and so on. ISO 27000 standard defines threat as a potential cause of an incident, right? That may result in harm of systems and organization. And in IoT case, industrial IoT case, the significance for this threat is enormous because the impact can be damaging, right? It can be destroying certain things, it can be impact on the lives of the people, blasting out certain furnaces or whatever it can happen. In the traditional cybersecurity, people may steal money, people may compromise your data and so on. But in the case of IoT systems, it can bring about injury and destruction of property and lives as well, right? So that's where it gains a lot more importance there. Now, how do you go about threat modeling for systems you're designing, right? Like, so what we mean by threat modeling is, one is identifying the threats, right? And then you have to tell like what are the threats that can happen to a particular IoT solution and how do you rate them, right? This is where you do the risk analysis, right? This is the IoT solution. These are the different components, the stack, what we saw, and what are the threats for each of this component, and how do you prioritize what is that which can be easily attacked, what is that difficult to attack. If something can be easily attacked, what is that I can do, right? That is your risk remediation comes there. Now, before that, threat modeling should be your first step, like you're trying to identify the threats and then you will analyze the threats to come up with a strategy of how do you want to handle the risk and the threats there, right? Now, how do you identify the threats? There is a STRIDE model which has been very popular. STRIDE stands for spoofing, identity, right? Tampering, repudiation, and information disclosure, DOS, elevation of privileges. So each of the aspects of your IoT device, IoT stack, you will rate them for these aspects, right? So what is the, suppose you have a smart camera, right? Now, smart camera, how much is the smart camera, it talks to a gateway and it is pushing to a cloud platform. Within the smart camera, there may be further other features. Now, what is the possibility that somebody can spoof this camera? They can bring another camera and show that this was that camera. Spoofing identity. Tampering. What is the possibility that somebody can tamper this kind of a camera? Repudiation, right? What is the possibility that somebody can send information but then say they have not sent it? What is the possibility that this camera, what is the, like to what extent, right? You will give a rating that information disclosure can happen because of this. Denial of service attacks. What is this camera? Can somebody do a denial of service attack on that? Can elevation of privileges happen on this? So you give a certain value for these STRIDE aspects for that particular IoT element there, right? And once you give for different elements, it could be camera, it could be gateway, it could be for the connectivity itself there, right? The cloud aspects and so on. So once you give these ratings, then you will come upon it helps you to identify the threats itself, right? Which are the threats in your solution? The rating aspects comes the next step, right? Now you have these different aspects identified, different threats identified. Once you have identified the threat, then you look into each of the threat and give them a risk rating, right? Typically, it is given in the scale of 1 to 3. You can, it's again, you can define depending on your application, right? What is the potential damage? Damage potential, reproducibility, exploitability, affected users, to how many users it can affect, right? And discoverability, right? Using these two aspects of STRIDE and DREAD, right? You identify the threats and you rate it and